Good day, children of God. Welcome to our reading and writing skills class. This is Mom Lennon B. Santos, an agent of transformation. Let's welcome to our class, and today's discussion will be focusing on the properties of a well-written text. First question is, what is a well-written text? You don't need to answer me. I know that you have something on your mind. You already know what a well-written text is based from the experience that you had when you were in elementary, when you were reading something, be it comics or whatever, when you were in high school. And for our today's objective, we have to identify the different properties of a well-written text. We also need to cite the importance of a well-written text and create a short, well-written paragraph employing the properties of a well-written text. This is a statement. For a text to be well-written, one must keep in mind this following properties. Number 1, organization. Number 2, coherence and cohesion. Number 3, language use. And number 4, mechanics. In organization, it is said that the ideas are well developed when there is a clear statement on purpose, position, facts, examples, specific details, definitions, explanations, justifications, or opposing viewpoints. Organization is achieved when these ideas are logically and accurately arranged. If there is a clear statement of purpose, position, facts, examples, specific details, definitions, explanation, justifications, or opposing viewpoints, of course, what comes after will be ideas are formed and well developed. Therefore, there is an organization. When it comes to coherence and cohesion, coherence has something to do with the sentences are arranged in a logical manner, making them easily understood by the reader, while cohesion, connection of ideas at sentence level. Cohesion, by let's have a focus on cohesion, the property of unity in a well-written text or a segment of spoken discourse that stems from links among its surface elements, as when words in one sentence are repeated in another, and especially from the fact that some words or phrases depend for their interpretation upon material in preceding or following text. Example, be assured of this, most people do not want to fight. However, they will do so when provoked. Of course, there is a connection between you that most people do not want fight, but the opposition of that is they will if they will they are provoked. How can we organize the details of a paragraph? Number 2, by using coherence and cohesion, an arrangement of details according to number 1, chronological order, number 2, spatial order, number 3, empathic order. Let's focus on chronological. The details are arranged in the order in which they happened. For instance, this morning was crazy. My alarm clock was set for p.m. instead of a.m., so I woke up really late. I just threw on some clothes and ran out of the door. I rode my bike as fast as I could and thought that I was going to be late for sure. But when I go there, everyone was outside and there were fire trucks all lined up in front of school. I guess somebody pulled the fire alarm before the class started. It worked out though, because nobody really noticed or minded that I was tardy. The chronological order: first, waking up late. Two, woke up late, I should say. Next is got ready, rode bike to school, saw people outside. Spatial: the sentences of a paragraph are arranged according to the geographical location, such as left to right, up to down, etc. Or you can just, for instance, you can just make use of the description of the location where you are currently in. The inside of Bill's refrigerator was horrible. On the top shelf was a 3-week-old carton of milk. Next to it sat a slice of melon that had started to get moldy. To the right of the melon sat the remains of a macaroni and cheese dinner that had been served a week earlier. On the shelf below was a slice of cake from his sister's birthday party. Though there was food, none of it was edible. Empathic is when information found in a paragraph is arranged to emphasize certain points depending on the writer's purpose. The coherence of the paragraph is established in one of two ways. A, from least to most important, or B from most important to least important. Let's take a look at the example. After looking at all the brochures and talking to several salesmen, I decided to purchase an SLR camera. For several years, I had been dissatisfied with the results I was getting from my point and shoot camera. The framing was imprecise and the focus was not always accurate. I had planned a vacation to an area that promised many fabulous photo opportunities, and I wanted to capture each one with accuracy. But the most important reason I decided on the SLR camera was the great versatility it offered. In the paragraph given, the organization moves from the least important idea, which is the dissatisfaction with the results of the point and shoot camera, to the most important idea, which has something to do with the versatility offered by the SLR camera. Let's proceed to the signal devices. Number one, we can make use transitions. And under transitions, we have the time, sequence, space, illustration, comparison, contrast, cause and effect, and conclusion. We also have the repetitions, the synonyms, and the pronouns. In signal devices, words that give readers an idea of how the points in your paragraph are progressing. For instance, in transitions, words that connect one idea to another in order for our ideas to flow smoothly. When it comes to time, first, immediately, afterward, before, at the same time, after, earlier, simultaneously, finally, next, in the meantime, later, eventually, then, meanwhile, now, subsequent, etc. are the words that can be used. In sequence, moreover, furthermore, next, also, finally, last, another, first, second, third, besides, additionally, and etc. are the words that can also be used under sequence. Space. It has something to do with the location. It must be, for instance, you want to make use of the above, next to, below, behind, beside, etc. In illustration, for instance, specifically, for example, namely, in this case, to illustrate, and etc. Comparison. You can make use of the terms similarly also, in the same way, still, likewise, in comparison to, etc. Contrast. But, despite, however, even though, yet, on the other hand, although, on the contrary, otherwise, conversely, etc. And when it comes to cause and effect, you can make use of the term because, as a result, consequently, then, so, since, etc. And for the conclusion, you can make use of thus, therefore, in conclusion, in short, etc. For repetitions of main ideas keep continuity and highlight important ideas. It could be a word, a phrase, or a full sentence, or a poetical line repeated to emphasize its significance in the entire text. Examples of repetitions: if you think you can do it, you can do it. The boy was a good footballer because his father was a footballer and his father was a footballer. The judge commanded, stamping his malay on the table, "Order in the court! Order in the court!" The president said, "Work, work, and work," and the keys to success, or are the keys to success. Synonyms. These are the words similar in the meaning to important words or phrases that prevent tedious repetitions. Pronouns. Words that connect readers to the original word that the pronouns replace. Example of pronouns used in an actual sentence. Incorrect. Rodrigo Duterte is the 16th President of the Republic of the Philippines. Aside from that, Rodrigo Duterte also served as Davao City's mayor for a long period of time. Rodrigo Duterte is known by the populace as an adamant leader. Correct. Rodrigo Duterte is the 16th President of the Republic of the Philippines. Aside from that, he also served as the Davao City's mayor for a long period of time. He is also known by the populace as an adamant leader. Language use. Language use, appropriateness of word vocabulary usage. Words and phrases one must avoid to use in order to practice appropriate language use. Words and phrases, of course, we can make use of, under the words of phrases, we can identify them as too formal, too unsophisticated, too vague, or let's proceed to the too informal. So taboo, we have a couple of America, isn't, can't, doesn't, would have, kind of, sort of, till, you, your. Okay, instead of using it, the interviews were a bit difficult to schedule, you can make use the alternative as the interviews were to schedule. Okay, a lot of studies, then you can make use of many, several, great number, or eight studies, or you can just read these examples under too informal. To unsophisticated, you can make use of a bad result, but instead write a poor or negative result. Instead of a big example, then make use of a large or sizable sample. Just read the latter part of the example. And for instance, we have here the other tips for jargon, cliches, everyday abbreviations, slang, not gender neutral or neutral. And lastly, the mechanics. It has something to do with set of conventions on how to spell, abbreviate, punctuate, and capitalize. Avoid contractions and exclamation points. When we say contractions, instead of writing can, cannot, you make use of can't. It's a big no-no. So instead of can't, write cannot. Instead of don't, write do not. Mention the full name before the abbreviation. You have to first state, for instance, as your teacher, Lenelyn B. Santos. And on the next word, you're gonna make use of just the term LBS. You have to mention first my full name before you will make use of the abbreviations on the next sentence, or on the next discussion that you will have. Numbers from 0 to 10 must be spelled out. Instead of writing 0, just a symbol, write ZERO for 0. So that's it for our today's discussion. I hope you or you learned something from me. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead.